over the weekend, a couple of various clips came out of different celebrities who seem to be taking an opportunity to not have an over-the-top hysterical response to Donald Trump being mentioned. One of them, of course, being The Rock, and the other one being Elton John. And it feels strange to have to say this, that civility is new in today's day and age, but it does feel this way. So first, what I want to do is play this clip of The Rock, who talks about knowing Donald Trump for an extended period of time. And then we'll look at the Elton John one, and you can see, and I want to know if you guys believe that there actually is a little bit of a shift in how he is being, maybe not perceived, but how he is being responded to by people that are famous. So let's listen to this clip first, and you can let me know what you think.
Trump used to come watch me wrestle all the time. Madison Square Garden. It was great. First time I saw him, I said, "Let me see the eyebrow." There it is.
I think that's where the Rizzler got his Riz face from.
So he was a fan. He wanted you as a fan. Oh, he was. Yeah, that's cool. He used to come to Madison Square Garden all the time. Big spoilers. Whether you love Donald or don't love Donald, it doesn't matter. What tried to assassinate him? There's no room for that. And yes.
He did the wait, where you wait for the applause. Yeah. You know?
Despite it being who we were in that moment, I still believe in my core that is not who we are as a country. So him standing up in that moment, you wanted to see that.
Okay. So again, none of this should be considered in any way somehow controversial, but it is today. Like, the fact that articles had to be written about this is indicative of the fact that having any opinion other than the dude is evil is somehow considered weird. So the other one was this clip of Elton John, and this is how ridiculous things have gotten. So he quotes talking about how Trump used Rocket Man to refer to Kim Jong-un. And the thing is, it was posted on Pop Crave, and there's an old account. There's like a parody account of Pop Crave called Poo Crave, and all of the responses were to this were like checked 56 times to make sure that this wasn't posted on Poo Crave. So let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say. It's actually really funny.
I know that you're not a supporter of Donald Trump's. He loves your music. How did it feel when he took the lyrics to Rocket Man and he used it as a nickname for Kim Jong-un, and then he gave Kim Jong-un
I laughed. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought, good on you, Donald. I'm the Rocket Man, yeah. Donald's always been a fan of mine, and he's been to my concerts many, many times.
Nice.
So, I mean, I've always been friendly towards him, and I thank him for his support. Yeah, when he did that, I just thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh.
He gave Kim one of your CDs and signed it. That was in one of the books about him, because Kim, I guess, didn't know the song, so...
What's that?
He gave Kim Jong-un the signed CD.
Yes.
Which he'd
well,
never heard of it.
I know, because he hasn't heard of me, Kim Jong-un. I'd be very surprised if he had. I've never toured North Korea, and I have no intention of doing so.
I was waiting the whole time for him to then rebuke. Right? It's always, even the interviewer had to rebuke at the beginning. He goes, look, I know that you're not a supporter of his, but, right? Yeah. The fact that the artist doesn't feel the need to, in some way, qualify his statement with, look, I'm not a supporter of his, but, means that there is at least a minor shift with certain celebrities.
100%.
Now, this is, oddly enough, in music, I think this is different, because every week he goes and he does some event, and he uses somebody's song, and then that artist has to come out and say, I'm filing charges against Donald Trump for using my music.
So I sent you a tweet like a minute or two ago in our group message. Pull that up, and this is the reason why this ties into everything here. But yeah, like, dude, Trump derangement syndrome is very real. Yep. Like, people cannot stop talking about him. And I was talking to someone over the weekend about this. I'm like, it's a little bit boy who cried wolf. They said he's the most evil man.
We got 20 here from The Last of My Kind. Says, the officially cover band Hybrid Theory is 100% awesome, especially live. It's the closest we'll ever get to Chester. I feel like Emily doesn't have the lung capacity. I do agree they should have led with the new stuff. Yeah, I mean, what I was saying, my comment was basically like, it sounds like she's straining to do his songs, right?
Yeah.
And that if you go on tour and do that, that's going to be difficult vocally.
Yeah, he's very famously is one of like the hardest working vocalists in the industry back in the day. Like that's what everyone would talk about.
Yeah.
Like to be able to get those like that kind of output of your voice is crazy.
Yeah.
It's
All
crazy.
right. So this is the tweet you said is from Cenk
Yeah.
Uygur. It says, agree with an online right-winger, 2% their reaction, welcome to the party, MAGA welcomes you. Agree with the
Yeah.
online leftist, only 98% of the time their reaction is that you're a Nazi.
Yep.
Yes,
It's true. It's
that is
literally true. I'm glad he finally realized.
And a lot of people are realizing this, and this is
Yeah.
why we're seeing
the
this
mask
shift.
is falling off, bro.
It's like you can't
that
just
COVID
keep,
mask keeps sliding, bro.
you can't keep calling him a Nazi when he's just your average frat boy. That's what he is. He's a frat boy president. Love it or hate it, but that's what he is. He's not this maniac warmonger dictator that you think he is. And people like, listen, if you're into politics and you're online a lot and you do a show like this, you were aware of this years ago. But if you're a normie who doesn't really follow this
It's
stuff,
happening now.
it takes a while.
Yeah,
it takes a while.
It's a hard rip hill.
And people don't want to feel villainized all the time. People just want to live their lives. They don't want to go like, oh, I said the wrong thing or I said it the wrong way, so all of a sudden I'm the villain and people are no,
Right.
nobody wants to live like that.
And it's different. It's funny because, like, I don't agree with it, but I understood why celebrities reacted a certain way because their net worth, their job, their work is tied directly to public opinion. Now, they have a financial motive for acting a certain way, saying a certain thing, even if perhaps they don't agree with it. The rest of us, it tends to be more like you just, if you're avoiding saying something or you're saying, oh, I don't support him, but it's to avoid social ostracization.
Well, that's
right?
what it is. But like, and people are now waking up that like, hey, if you're The Rock and you want to do an advertisement, if it's for a company with conservative values, you have a lot of freedom to say what you want to say. You can be yourself and it will probably be all right. Now, if you want to do it for a company with a lot of like liberal and progressive views, it has to be 100% the narrative that they decide. You don't have room to be yourself. There is no individualism. And people don't want to live like that, right? Like I'm sure The Rock has said stuff critical about Trump.
No,
a lot of people...
And he endorsed Biden last time, and then last month,
Right.
or 2 months ago, he said, I'm not endorsing any candidate this time. Whoever gets elected, I'll support.
And you don't see conservatives losing their minds over it.
No.
You don't see moderates losing their minds. It's only the people like the super like neo-progressives and neo-libs that are just like you have to be copycat or you're in the enemy, right?
And well, it's because they expect 100% conformity
100%.
all the time. And it's one of the, it's funny is not to turn this into a heavily politicized debate, is that's why the right tends to make up less ground, is because they're too busy arguing amongst themselves because they do support debate and they engage in disagreements on a regular basis, whereas the other side makes up tons of ground and doesn't ever have to cede territory because they fall in line lockstep with everything. Therefore, everything goes their way when they're pushing towards a goal.
Right, and when you're gish galloping somebody else and you're just trying to flood the space with information, it's impossible to retort everything and it's impossible to refute anything because there's just so much to do. You can never get back.
I always put it in this way, like kind of frame it this way in my mind, is if the average American is average American voter is a child, right? And your parents are Trump or Republicans or Democrats. The Democrat parent are helicopter parents. They're texting you every 5 minutes, asking what you're doing, who are you with, be home by this time. The conservative parents, they're just like, hey, don't do anything stupid, right? I'm not bailing you out of jail, right? Like, they give you good morals, but they let you be yourself and make your own decisions. And no one wants to live under that microscope.
I disagree. I think
Or
that
that-
I think a lot of people do now. I
Some
think that's
people
the problem.
love the conformity. They have to think about things. Some people love that box.
So nuts.
It's the,
They do.
the
I know.
idea
I think
that
so too, man. For most people that are of our thinking would think that too.
it's the idea that people they think they want freedom, but they like the idea of the benevolent dictator
Yes,
more.
they do.
Meaning that if all I have to do to be allowed to operate free from criticizing anything is that I just fall in line with the talking points they give me, then that's a price they're willing to pay to do that. And a lot of celebrities have fallen into that camp. On top of the ones that do just believe that he's evil. And that's, you know, whatever their beliefs are, wherever they get their information, they've come to that conclusion.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.